What's up, everybody? Welcome to the inaugural edition of the Flailing Forward podcast. I'm Dustin Siler here with my co-host, Heather. Don't call me Kelly Witzig. And we are just chatting about all things flailing and all things moving forward. And we're just spitballing and having a great old time. So, Heather, tell everybody a little bit about why we chose the name Flailing Forward for the podcast.
Well, we decided that, we've kind of unsure where it originated from, the failing forward concept, but we've definitely heard our fearless leader and mentor, Pace Morby mention, failing forward, just kind of getting out there, breaking stuff, getting out there and doing things, learning, growing. And we kind of decided that we wanted to use that, but also kind of make fun of the fact that a lot of times it just feels like we're flailing. And
Yeah.
so, but we're forward moving and growing every day. And that's kind of what we decided.
Absolutely. It seems like every time you learn something new or try a new avenue or something, you just feel like you're flailing and floating through the air and a little bit lost. But at the end of the day, when you look back, you're making incremental steps forward and you're always moving in the right direction. And that's all that counts. So we've definitely done our fair
Amen.
share of flailing
Yeah.
forward.
We're gonna dig into some of that flailing here in a little bit too, with
Yeah,
with an RV purchase that we got subject to. So we'll talk about that a little later. So stay tuned.
absolutely. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing in your business.
Woo! All right. Do you have a few hours?
Check the schedule.
um, I'll kind of make it very short and sweet. I am a founding partner in a capital raising company, and we raise capital for high volume investors. And I'm also looking into getting into private equity space and buying businesses. So those are just kind of two of a lot of things I'm flailing forward in. And yeah, those are the main ones right now. What
Yeah.
about you?
Perfect. I work full time in medicine, so that's my main job, my W-2 superpower right there. And then I use that to help me invest in real estate deals, mainly long-term buy and hold deals is what I've been doing. But I've started doing some private money lending and some private money partnerships. I'm looking to get into more of that, starting to look at acquiring businesses, I should say. And of course, with you, we've started a partnership where we have purchased an RV and are looking to get a fleet of RVs so that we can rent them out to people. Our RV rental business.
I laugh because it has been an experience with yeah, exactly. We can kind of roll right into that if no pun intended. Um
Let's
so
let's flail our way into that discussion. Yeah.
oh yeah. So well, and first, Dustin and I met, was it been like a few months ago now, I think, at the community camp event put on by Pace and crew. So that's
And
kind of
Jerry
where
Norton,
we
big shout out to Jerry Norton helping put that
Jerry
on.
Norton, yes, in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lake house and all of his family. We got to meet, a bunch of the crew.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was just such a fun event. So that's kind of, what we've, you get out there, you meet people, you start doing deals with each other, and then you never leave. You can never get rid of them at that point.
That's right.
So
That's right. Connected for life now.
yeah, yeah, we've got our little RV baby. So, yeah, so we ended up kind of chatting about how we both wanted to, buy some vehicles creatively, and I happened to find an opportunity for us to buy an RV subject to, and we kind of flew out to Florida and sight unseen bought the little I would say Biggie. I don't know. We call her Bessie, old Bessie. So we flew out there, got it locked up, and took off and had a cross country adventure, if I would say, an adventure with her all the way to Utah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we can just kind of break that down a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Break it down for so subject to when we're talking about subject to, just in case there's anybody that ever watches this that doesn't know what subject to is, you're taking over something subject to the existing debt on the asset. So if it's a house, you're taking over a mortgage. In this case, where we were purchasing an RV, we're taking over and servicing the debt on the vehicle itself. So we're essentially paying the loan that's already in place on that. And that's how we purchased this. We gave the seller a little bit of money up front. We make the monthly payments on the loan, and we have a bill of sale that says that we are the official owners of that asset. So,
And perks on that is no credit check.
yep,
Yay.
yep.
500 bucks a month.
Better
Loan
interest
already in
rates than
place.
they are now, right?
Yep, yep. What else would you say are some of the perks of
It
buying
doesn't
this
it
way?
doesn't affect your debt to income because it doesn't report on your credit report. So there's no effect of your debt to income, anything like that. You don't have to go through all of the financing paperwork and delay. You can purchase things much quicker, whatever asset you're purchasing when you're doing subject to. It's a much faster process because you don't have to work on the bank's timeline. Well, okay.
Was it faster?
Well, okay. Okay. True, true, true. But you don't have to wait for the bank to, get back to you with, well, now we need this paperwork. Well, now we need this paperwork. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah,
but
there was definitely some delays and a little bit of deferred maintenance that were we actually I have not gotten an update, a little skinny on the the old Bessie. We had
we'll,
to take her in.
yeah,
Well, during the ride, she almost blew some tires, so $2,000 later during our road trip, we had to put some new tires on the old girl. And
yeah,
then a few other things started getting a little squirrely, so we had to bring her in to get looked at this week when we got back. So yeah,
yeah.
Dustin's actually going to give me the scoop right now live to all 0 people watching right now live.
That's right. Our nice live studio audience. I'm gonna put in the clap soundtrack.
Woo!
Before we get to the update on that, all that, tell us how you found this deal.
You know what? It was just talking to people. I was talking to the lovely Angie Milanazzo
Yeah,
about potentially, she's out there in Colorado doing big things, and we were talking about a sub two car that she had that she was looking to sell to someone, and that didn't end up being a fit for me. But I kind of was talking to her about what our thought. I think it was something we had talked about that week or the week before about potentially getting some vehicles creatively and renting them out. And through that conversation, she had remembered a conversation she had with a woman in Florida, and she didn't end up buying the RV, but she got me in contact and kind of just took it from there.
yeah. And then we started the interesting thing was this girl that was looking to sell her RV was actually her father's RV. So she was kind of the go-between. So that was
Yeah.
where some of the delays came in. As we were working with her, she had to get in touch with her dad, who then had to get in touch with his lawyer, who then had to get back in touch with his daughter, and she got back with us. So it was a little bit convoluted and a little bit of a messy process, but we got there eventually. And talk about flailing. We decided last minute to go down there because I had a break in my work schedule that allowed us to go quicker than we expected.
Which never
And
happens
it
because
never happens. There
this
was,
man works 100 days a month.
if there was that many, I would probably try and fill them. Yeah. Yeah, there was a miscommunication on my work schedule. So I had a week open up unexpectedly, and I text Heather and was like, let's go. And she's like, well, let me check if they can do it. And everybody said yes. So we
I think
went
this
and
was like 4 days before. Grant, I did four
yeah,
or five, maybe if they're lucky. So
yeah,
yeah,
it
we
was
just.
last minute notice.
Mhm.
And we flew down there, got down there, and then found out that the guy was supposed to be out of town. Turns out he ended up not being out of town because his plans changed last minute. So that worked out. We were able to get there. There was a lot of nervousness going down of whether this was going to happen or not, but we just decided to take the chance, go for it, move forward, and that if this one didn't work out, we were going to find something else down there while we were there.
No,
Right.
I think but also we were like, you know what? If we just go to Disney World, fine. Then we'll
Yeah.
just do something fun.
Right. We
So,
got a week. Let's make the most of it. So
yeah,
yeah.
we kind of just were like, let's do this. Let's see if this is gonna work out. And everything ended up working out.
Yeah. It did. It did. We got down there. His schedule opened up. We were able to meet with them. Lovely family. They made us breakfast, which was super nice of them.
Yes.
And
We
then we
spent
sat at
about
their
6 hours with
kitchen table for
them.
19 hours.
It was a very, very long, but we got through it. There were some questions, there were some revisions in the paperwork, and we finally got 100 pages. It felt like printed, and killed a few trees. I'm sorry, and and then got everything over to the bank, and had some notaries going on there, and some wires going out, and then
Yeah,
we got the walkthrough that was probably about 3 hours long after that.
we did. Yeah, that's we weren't expecting to have to go track down a notary. His was supposed to be signed by the time we got there. It wasn't because we had to revise some stuff. So luckily, Chase had a notary there when we went to see them. Then there was
By the way, hot
difficulty.
tip, for free.
Yes. Yeah, that's
I've been paying $10 a document at UPS store. I didn't realize it was free. So that's a hot tip right there for y'all.
yep, great tip. Banks and credit unions normally will have a notary on staff. If you're a member of that, they provide that service free to members. So
Who knew?
don't pay for it unless you have to.
Probably a lot of people knew, but I did not.
Yeah, no, that's a great tip. That's a great tip. We had some issues. I mean, we were flailing through this entire thing. This was a learning experience for us for sure. We had issues with getting the payment to him. We were going to use Zelle, and Zelle was giving us all sorts of issues. So
They were like, by the
Heather,
way, Zelle, you can't fund larger amounts apparently. So
yep. What I learned from that is every individual institution puts their own restrictions on how much you can fund, and so know your institution, know how much they'll allow you to fund, and like know what your
per day,
restrictions
per
are.
transaction. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but we got it all figured out. Got the payment made. Got on the road way later than we expected. We took the RV through the car return portion at the airport. we parked it on the side of the road while we returned the rental vehicle we'd used to get there.
Oh, there were so many bumps in the road. Talk about well, do we really want to? Maybe we
Probably
don't.
not.
Lots of bumps in the road. We definitely did. We got insurance on it. Outdoorsy actually has a great insurance. Roamly,
Mhm.
shout out Roamly. Hopefully we'll get some sponsors
Yeah, right.
from them soon.
And
Um,
also, while you're shouting out Roamly, we shout out Carly Grundeman for letting us know about Roamly and that was even an option. I wouldn't
Carly,
even have known where to get insurance had she not already brought it up and mentioned it.
thank
So,
you. Yeah, no, she's awesome. She's part of our mentorship. She is amazing. She's so giving. There was probably, I don't know, 20 audio messages from her the week we were going through this, and she was super helpful, and just walking us through, sometimes even walking us through, like, I don't actually know on that, but like,
yeah.
hey, maybe try this. And so, got through the paperwork and got through the sort of little things that we needed to get, which was the insurance and all the little pieces along the way. And
Mhm.
she was definitely helping out, and Molly as well. Molly
Yep.
Tennant, she's awesome.
Yep.
They definitely helped us out, and it really, once we went through, I think once I went through it, I was like, oh, that wasn't actually as labor intensive I mean, other than just getting the vehicle itself, but the
Yeah.
paperwork and the things that you have to get done, like the insurance and things like that, didn't it felt like it should have been harder.
Right.
So
It
I
was
was
it
surprised.
was it was all new, and so it was a little bit slower kind of figuring it out and getting done. But once you got it figured out, it wasn't that bad, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. So
Yeah.
definitely, if anybody's watching, it's not as hard. I mean, I don't know. The first one is definitely flailing forward, but we're happy to help anybody that is doing it and has any questions. Definitely once you've done it once, it's going to be so easy doing another one. So we're planning
Right.
on, once old Bessie gets out of the shop and we get her starting to, don't even tell me yet. I don't want to know yet. So I think he's got bad news. So we're just going to talk about that in a minute.
Well, going along our adventure here during the walkthrough, the very, very thorough and time-intensive walkthrough that we got of the vehicle, we were told that it hadn't had an oil change for a while and it needed an oil change.
A
And
while,
what I noticed was the last oil change sticker said that it was due in June of this year. So it was
which
over
we're in
by
October.
a few months. Yeah, it was due by June of 2023. I forget. This lives on in
See,
perpetuity. So
for some people like me that where oil changes are like if they say 6 months, I kind of go a year and a half. I mean, I don't know. I'm
yes.
okay with it.
So oil changes are like ranch. They never expire.
Exactly. Exactly.
So the oil change needed to happen. We were going to get it done when we got it back to Utah, which is where its kind of home base is for now. We started driving. We got somewhere in the middle of Tennessee and noticed that there were cracks in the sidewalls of the tires. And one of the tires, the driver's front tire, had a bulge in the sidewall, which is no good. That's bad news.
That's not usually what you want. Also, you say we, thankfully you're so sweet to include me in that, but it was you who were doing your due diligence. So at least you've got to have one person on your team that knows what they're doing around cars and road trips like this. So please don't get into this situation. If there's two of you like me, don't do it.
Or just fake it till you make it. I just looked at
Yeah.
enough stuff that it's like, oh, that doesn't look right.
Yeah. I did
um,
you take pictures of it? I actually don't know if you took pictures of the tires before they got taken off.
no, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. No, but that was very concerning for sure. Tennessee to Utah is quite a drive, and there was no way we were making it. That tire wouldn't have made it the rest of the way. When we took it in, we took it about 30 miles down the road and found a discount tire right in like
Mhm.
Marysville, Tennessee, and they were super cool. Big shout out to those guys because they stayed late to get these tires on for us. They had to pull some in from another location last minute towards the end of the day. They only had a couple more hours that they were going to be open, and it took them most of that time just to get the tires there. And then they ended up staying like 45 minutes late to get them on for us.
Yeah, they hooked
Super,
us
super
up
helpful. Yeah.
hardcore. Yeah,
Yeah.
go if you ever in the area, check them out.
Yeah, very nice guys, very helpful. They looked at the tire with the bulge in the sidewall, and the guy was like, "Yeah, that's not lasting very long. It's a good thing you got in." So it was the right choice we made to not try and drive on that sucker.
Yeah, so
But yeah,
$2,000 later, we were like, okay, well, all right. And
yep,
we already knew that there was an issue with the backup camera, so we already knew we were going to have to fix that. Did we know by that point that the slider motor was already going out, or did we find that out later?
I think we found that out the same day. It was the morning that we found those tires were bad that we couldn't put the slider back in.
So it was like two things in one day that were pretty big. We were like,
Yep,
okay, that and the backup camera screen is broken, and we're like, okay, this is
yep,
racking up right now. There's a few things wrong, and this is like a 2-year-old RV, and this
yep,
is a 31 footer. This girl, she can take on 10. She can sleep 10.
yeah.
She's a big girl.
Yep, and that's I guess we hadn't mentioned that it's a 2021 Thor motor coach. It's 31 feet, sleeps 10. You're exactly right. It has two sliders on it. One of them was working just fine. The other one worked fine for a couple nights, and then decided one time to go out and not come back in. So we had to manually help it come back in,
Uh,
which was a lot of fun.
manually manually. I was not moving anything. I was trying, and she was not there. She was not responding to my touch.
Yeah, she wasn't responding to much, but we eventually somehow got that back in and have not tried putting it back out yet until we get it checked out. We talked to somebody at Camping World and they told us that's most likely the motor going out, so we're gonna have them check it out eventually when we can. There's a lot going on here.
So just to interject in there, is they're not looking at that currently where she's at, right? Because they can't do that. Oh,
Yep.
good.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
once you get through the road trip, then we can kind of go into the good news or bad news,
Sure.
whatever you're holding in right now.
Whatever we're looking at here. Well, I mean, the road trip, we got the tires fixed. We got back on the road, and then a few more miles down the road, maybe a few more 100 miles down the road, the check engine light came on. So
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
that was super fun. I was hoping it was something just really silly, like the gas cap not being tight. So I tightened the gas cap multiple times, and that did not take care of it. It was not the gas cap. Spoiler alert. But that was, I mean, those were the only issues on the road. We did make it back in one piece. It made it back.
We were trying to laugh. We were trying to laugh about it the whole way, even though we were like, okay, what?
We figure it's a story, and now we're sharing that story with everybody on the internet.
Yes.
It's a good story. It's a good story, but we got it back. We got back in one piece, thankfully. And this is what I learned when I got back by talking with Camping World to try and get it checked out. The chassis is serviced by someone other than who takes care of the actual RV sitting on the chassis. So our chassis is a Ford F450. So they have to do the oil changes. They have to do the check engine light diagnostics. They have to do any of the work that involves the actual chassis of the vehicle, the engine, the truck portion itself that's carrying the motor coach. Camping World, or some sort of RV maintenance tech or facility that will do work on those, they're the ones that have to deal with like the sliders and the generator and any of the stuff inside the RV. Yes, ma'am.
Question.
Yeah.
Are there places that have both? Because if not, that's a business opportunity.
There you go. There you go. I don't know. Maybe an independent RV maintenance
not
person.
Enough of them.
Yeah.
Probably not enough of them.
Yeah, I don't know. The problem is just the difference between, because it's like two separate things, the chassis and then the motor coach that sits on top of it. So something to look into.
Tell me you can't marry those together and make a lot of people's lives a lot easier.
It would be nice to not have to take it to different places. And they may be out there. I just may be a rookie and not know about them yet. So
hey, let us know wherever. I don't know, I was going to say in the comments, but I don't know where this is going to be. So you may be in the comments. We'll put this up on YouTube. I'm sure we'll put this up on YouTube. And
I
so
have
you guys
no doubt it's
laugh at
going
us.
on YouTube. Yeah. So if anybody eventually down the road knows about this and wants to help us in our infantile RV state, let us know.
Please help. Send help. Okay, do tell. Now, I've been waiting for probably 2.5 hours now for you to tell me what is going on with Bessie.
So good. So took her into the Ford dealer the other day. You have to take it into, because she's a big old hoss. So you got to take her into the actual truck dealer that works on commercial vehicles and things like that. They took a couple days to get back to me. They're doing the oil change on it, and then I had them do a diagnostics for the check engine light. They found two separate issues with the check engine light, two different triggers. One was a pump release valve that was sticking open and not closing. So that has to be replaced. And then, to be perfectly honest, I don't remember what they said the other thing was, but it's a system PCS something system that is malfunctioning and has to be replaced. Bottom line is, I don't know
it's the prime corporate service.
It's the prime corporate service system that needs to be replaced. Just kidding, Tommy. We love you.
Just kidding.
It's a good thing nobody from Prime watches this.
I know. No.
So yeah, those two things have to be replaced, and with that and the oil change, and also we had some wires hanging down in the back that was that had come disconnected from, they spliced them back together. It had to do with the septic tank and the septic dump in the RV. So they got those put back together. All of the stuff that the Ford dealership is going to do, they're quoting around $2,500.
Ow.
Yeah.
And that's not even
Yeah.
including, what else do we have?
We have not yet taken it in to get the slider looked at, the motor for the slider. And they're also the generator, the hours of use on the generator are not popping up on the panel. It's not showing the hours used on the panel. So we need to get that looked at. And we got to get that faceplate replaced for the backup camera so people can see what they're doing.
And then wasn't there something else? Wasn't like the battery? There was like something with the battery underneath there that like needed, or is that just a tie
Just
down?
the strap. Yeah, the strap broke on our way back across Wyoming. The strap for one of the not the engine battery for the truck, but the batteries for the RV itself.
We
One
were
of the
coming
straps.
apart at the seams. We were just, things were just flying off, and
We were leaving pieces of Bessie all over the country. One of the hold down straps for that battery broke, but I've got a different tie on it, and the battery's fine itself. It was just securing it down so that it wasn't rattling around, but it's okay now.
About 2,500 plus we've got to look at the slider motor, the generator hours, and the backup camera screen.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
We gotta get this old girl out there.
We sure do.
Get some
And
money back.
we're heading into slower season winter. So
yes, but hey, if anybody watching, shout out. We are looking for land or RV parks or land with a house on it that has room for an RV that we might maybe we park her and do something else with her. Maybe she's just screaming to just be out on some land and be rented out, on that land. Who knows? So we're looking in California, Northern California, Utah, or near any national parks potentially as well. So if anybody's got anything, you let us know. We'd love to partner with you. I can capital raise. We can, do a deal together. You can sell us the deal, whatever. We're looking for potentially creative deals would be ideal as well. So yeah.
Or if anybody wants to take old Bessie out for a time and travel around and see the parks with her, that's also an option. She will be up for rent. And by the time we finish all this stuff, she is going to be in tip-top shape because we are 100% fixing all the things. So, and she's only 2 years old, so she's going to be ready to rock and roll. She's going to be a beaut by the time we're done fixing her up.
Actually, the bed's super comfortable. I sat at the table a lot to do a lot of work. So, if you have a chauffeur like I did, it was great. I could work like 10, 12 hours a day, and it was grand.
Yeah.
I felt like a celebrity. I was like, boop, 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 boop.
She's got very comfortable captain seats to drive in. It was a comfortable drive. I've driven across the country a number of times, and that was one of the more comfortable rides that I've had.
Yeah, except for probably the last, 6 hours that were white knuckling due to the wind.
Woo. Nothing to do with the RV, but if you are ever driving across southern Wyoming, it's garbage.
Don't do it. Just don't. Go somewhere else.
Go south through Colorado, because driving across I-80 in Wyoming at really any point at any time of the year is just a wind tunnel. And in a big old sail like an RV, you're getting blown all over the place.
Yeah, not in a good way either.
Right. Let's see what you did there.
It was a great trip though. Other than that, I felt so bad at the end. It was really, really, I was like, all right, I'm not going to talk because I was too worried about, going off the road or anything.
It got a little hairy in a couple spots where the wind was super, super blowing, but she also handled like a champ. She took the hills really well. That 450 just pulls really nicely up those steep hills across Wyoming. I mean, there's some serious elevation gain, and it pulls really well. We never lost too much speed on it. We were passing by the other trucks and stuff like that. So
yeah, I was really impressed. Well. Yeah, I was actually really impressed because I've never been in an RV since I was a kid, so I don't really remember anything. And I just, always get a little nervous in vehicles, and yeah, it felt really sturdy. Your driving was really great. And, you know, the whole thing, I was like, hey, we made it.
There we go. We did make it. We
Whew.
made it. Yeah, it was good. And all
So
the,
we'll kind of,
all the campsites that we stayed at, super nice, friendly, great experiences. It's a great way to get out and see the country, really.
yeah. Yeah. And I know, you know, our goal is to, you know, if we do, which is what we're thinking, is renting it out on Outdoorsy. You know, we're, you know, depending on the time of year and where she's parked, of course, you know, we're looking at anywhere between, you know, 2,000 and maybe 6,000 a month in cash flow. Obviously, depending on the year or, you know, time of year and the, really just, what else is it? The year?
The
Lost my train of thought.
time of year.
And
Yeah.
where.
Season
Yeah.
is the biggest thing and where she's at, so,
Yeah.
but yeah, we've got a lot of national parks out here in the West, a lot of places to see. And the
Yeah.
great news about an RV is it can travel anywhere. So it can go across the country.
We found that out. It can go out anywhere.
Yeah.
And we're looking to add sprinter vans and
Mhm.
smaller RVs and trailers and things like that too. So again, if
Yep.
anybody is selling or knows anybody that is, you know, let us know. We're definitely
Hit us
looking to
up.
add to the fleet. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Definitely like to add a few more to the fleet there. So, stories out there, lessons learned. Heather, what'd you find from this first purchase that we did? This first adventure into RVing.
Just don't, I would say, I mean, there's some things I definitely would, if I'm buying again, I would definitely bring the vehicle to a mechanic first.
Hmm.
I might not buy something in a different state sight unseen, but we're adventurous, crazy people. So we were like, how bad can it be? You know, we're a little like, let's just try it out. Let's see, you know. And you just kind of have to laugh about the, you know, sucky things that happen and you know, hopefully have some money and some reserve so that you can actually fix these issues as they come up and everything. But yeah, that's, I mean, I would definitely take it to a mechanic first, and then use that as a negotiation tool, to maybe not have to put, you know, we didn't put a lot down, but you know, to maybe put less down because there's a lot of deferred maintenance and things. So that's definitely what I would do going forward on another purchase.
Hmm.
But again, flailing forward, that's the whole concept, right? That's what we're talking
Yeah.
about. And we're like, okay, we're fine, we'll do this, and you know, we'll just kind of see what happens, and you know, kind of throw a little bit of caution to the wind and learn through it, and we're
Yeah.
gonna be fine. We're gonna be cash. It's easy to cash flow. I think it's like with insurance and the payment and even a little in reserves, we're gonna be cash flowing in like maybe 4 or 5 days a month. So
Yeah.
even if we're just breaking even through the winter, not really that big of a deal. And you know, we can just, you know, cash flow in the other months. Hopefully we're cash flowing in the winter, but if we're not, you know, we've got an RV that we can use when we want it here and
Hmm.
there, and we've got something to rent out and hopefully make at least a few thousand cash flow.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
What
Exactly.
about you? Learning lessons?
Yeah, for sure. This was definitely a learning experience. I agree with you on taking to get it checked out. At least take it on a big test drive. But I think getting it checked out by somebody first is also a good idea. I think one of the mistakes we made is we didn't put that second slider out because it was in the middle of the road and it would have blocked everybody coming. I think taking it someplace where we could have fully extended that slider and make sure everything was good there would have been helpful. Um, we also, bought it from somebody who was really unfamiliar. And I don't think, I just do want to clarify that I don't think he did anything malicious in selling us this. I think he doesn't know. And I think he was unfamiliar with the vehicle. He hadn't used it a lot. That's why he was selling it. And I think he was just unaware of some of the maintenance issues that were there on it. So, if you're in a circumstance like that, definitely taking it and getting it checked out by a mechanic or a maintenance tech or something is a great idea. I think also making sure to go through the paperwork in advance with somebody, maybe on a Zoom or something, would have been helpful. Then we wouldn't have had to be at his house. Our time frame got all crunched and changed because of schedules and stuff. So there wasn't much we could do about that. But in the future, I think definitely with the actual seller, going through everything on a Zoom before we fly down and making sure their questions are answered would be helpful as well.
Yep,
Um,
definitely.
and then just always plan on having more in reserves than you think. Always plan on there being more expenses than you're anticipating. I think especially when you buy these recreational vehicles, they're a little bit of a money pit. So there's always going to be charges and expenses with them. And I think you just have to budget that into your numbers and to your pro forma, and just know that you're going to have maintenance costs. And at the end of the day, you can either laugh about the experience and have a fun story about it, or you can get pissed and be really grumpy about it. We try to do the former and laugh about it and have a story about it. And I think that's the better way to go.
Yeah, we definitely there was some grump going on, but there was a lot more laughing, and it was more like, what can you do?
What can
We're
you do?
here. We just, we're just gonna get through it and, deal with
Sure.
it and maybe laugh about it and, you know.
And do a breakdown of it to put on the internet.
Exactly, exactly. No, I can't wait till we're breaking down the cash flow over the next, few months. And
Yep.
we'll get her out there, we'll get her cash flowing, and it's gonna be a good, just like with real estate, even if something's a little bit of a money pit at first, you hold on to it long enough, odds are you're going to be okay in the clear.
Yeah.
There's still some that don't work, but for the most part, I think you can kind of get there with anything as long as you just have a little bit of patience and can get through weathering the storms.
Yep. I think you're right. I think there's going to be some upfront costs with almost anything. It's kind of like buying a house, right? You've got to put a little bit of money into it to reno it, to get it turned and ready for the next person, whether you're renting it, whether you're moving it to another end buyer or something like that. It's similar in this case, I think, where you've just got to plan on putting a little bit of deferred maintenance cost into it, getting it back up to tip top shape. And then once that's done, just like with the house, right, then you can start to get the cash flow and the money moving on it. And I think, these are such great ways to get out and explore and see things that I think, especially in the warmer months when people are doing a little bit more exploring, I think it'll be a good option, because this sucker will sleep a family.
Or 20 dogs with Daniel Quijano
If you
and his girl.
if you're on the DQ family path, yeah, you can bring all your dogs.
I think we could fit all their dogs in there for
I,
sure.
I I do believe you're correct. Yeah, I believe so.
So, I mean, is there anything else? I think this first was there anything else we kind of want to talk about on this first episode?
I think we nailed it. Did you have anything else you wanted to say on this one?
I mean, nailed it for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Anyway, for anybody who sees us in the future, thank you for watching it. We're going to be putting out more content, so stay tuned, and hopefully you'll watch further stuff. If you got any value from this, please let us know. And anyway, we'll be back later with more discussions about how we're flailing forward.
See you later. Bye, everyone.
See ya.